what you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
We struggled, as to strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
It's good to still have you right there on global television. Just in a bid to serve you better, we need to put a little technical hitch in order. And on Global Morning this day, we have so much to talk about, as we will be bringing you the headlines. After the headlines, we have about 3 topical issues to talk about today. Very topical. You really love it. And it's part of the reason we told you first that we will help you kickstart your day on a very good footing. And of course, the weather is already pointing to the fact that December is here. And this is something we can't skip. Someone called me a few days ago to say, hey, how is the preparation for Christmas? I said, yes, we are waiting for it to come, because whether you like it or not, it's really going to come. My name is Ramsey Enoch once again, and of course, I'm being joined with Queen Agaba on Global Morning today, as we take you through a very interesting moment on this beautiful day. Queen, how's your rest?
Oh, good morning, Ramsey. It's good to be here with you again on Global Morning. I had a beautiful rest, and like you rightly said, it's December, and the weather is pointing to the fact that it's, Christmas season. There's just this feel that comes with Christmas. The Harmattan, the Christmas decorations, and even the fruits that are in season. Particularly one of them that always reminds me of the Christmas season will be the Udara fruit, what some people call agbalumo. And they call it, I think in English it's called red cherry or something like that, or 5-star cherry star or something like that.
A lot of people struggle to know the name of that fruit, the English name, because agbalumo and udara is
the most common.
I don't want to say universal. I was almost being tempted to say universal, but then for Nigeria, that's what it's been known. So you're right.
Yes. So these fruits, these seasons, and the Harmattan and everything just points to the fact that it's Christmas season. It just reminds you of Christmas season, and it's such a beautiful feel. I mean, when I saw it yesterday, I was seeing the udara fruit for the very first time yesterday, and I was so excited. I had to buy some, regardless of the amount. It's not yet out.
Is it tasty? Is it tasty?
It's really sour. It's really. I think I could need a few to the office. It's really sour now, not as nice as it is. But because of my love for that fruit, I really don't mind.
Well, just because people do so many things these days because of the love they have for it. What do you have love for today? What's your passion? Okay, apart from passion, what's that food, all right, that you love so much? That fruit that if you see it anywhere, you tell the driver, hey, come on, stop, please, driver, I need to get this. No matter where it is you're traveling to, no matter where you find the fruit. But then I think one very important thing about life is that there will be something that someone will love so much that they will be ready to do anything for. I'm not talking about relationship now. I'm not talking about the man-woman relationship, the husband and wife relationship, the fiance relationship. That's not what I'm talking about, because a lot of people's mind will go right there. But then I think one very other important thing is that there is always one thing that someone loves that you place a very high premium on. No matter what happens, you will really want to get it. You would want to spend your last kobo to get that thing. Talking about spending your last kobo, how much kobo do Nigerians even have now? Except that the money is in the hands of very few individuals. But then, one very significant thing about this economy is the fact that both the rich and the average Nigerians are actually complaining more so that there is scarcity of naira right now. Go to the point of sale, they will tell you for you to get 5,000 naira, you pay as high as 200 to 250 naira, depending on the location. But then, what are we saying? In our own country, we're facing all of this. What is the reason for this? And another question Nigerians are asking is, why would these things be happening almost every December? One thing happens in December. If it's not fuel scarcity, it is naira scarcity. There must be scarcity of something when it comes to December. I look at it like some persons take advantage of the season, the timing, to actually exploit other Nigerians. It's either, well, I don't need to talk about foodstuff right now. I don't need to talk about produce right now. It's on the high, it's on the rise. On a daily basis, you go to get something. In few minutes, you're returning back there again, and they are telling you a different thing. The price have skyrocketed. Why? Because they will tell you there is no fuel. I just want to get a bunch of banana a few days ago, and the woman said, well, transporting it from Akure, transporting it from Benue, transporting it from Cross River, she was just giving me a whole lot of sermon, a whole lot of education, like I don't know what is happening in Nigeria. And if you look at it from both sides of the coin, you wouldn't blame these people who retail, because you don't just look at the retailer, but it's unfortunate that the only person that has the interface with the final consumer is the retailer. You don't get to see the producer and, of course, the wholesaler. You get to interface with the retailers most times, who are the ones who sell the piece that you need at a particular point in time, and the pricing is something else that you can't take away. But then, what is the federal government of Nigeria doing to make sure Nigerians celebrate this Christmas in a very beautiful note? This is the birth of Jesus Christ. It's one season that is being celebrated all over the world, irrespective of tribes and tongue. As a matter of fact, the public holiday goes for every religion. Irrespective of your religion, you get to enjoy the Christmas and, of course, the New Year. But it will amaze you that some persons, Queen, don't even celebrate Christmas like they celebrate the New Year. You see some persons, they will tell you, for Christmas I'm not traveling, but for New Year, no. That meeting, that festival, they do it. That meeting they fix, especially our brothers from the east. That's 1st of December, 1st of January, I beg your pardon. That meeting, they will do everything to attend it. But some persons celebrate Christmas, other persons celebrate New Year. But the bottom line is, how much do Nigerians have to celebrate Christmas and New Year?
Exactly. While you were talking about people who celebrate Christmas and those who don't celebrate Christmas, I just remember that there are a particular group of people who are Christians but do not celebrate Christmas because they think that, Christmas, Jesus Christ wasn't born on the 25th of December, so it was just a secular movement to just celebrate and all of that. But regardless of that, a day has been chosen to celebrate him.
It can be sure, yes, whether it was 25th
or not. So we just decided that 25th we come celebrate. But some people have decided that they will not celebrate. And a joke was created. Someone made a statement around it. It's like, I will join this particular group of people who don't celebrate Christmas. Why? Not because I don't celebrate Christmas, but because of the economic reality. So I believe that 25th is not when Jesus was born, and so I'm not celebrating Christmas simply because I cannot afford a bag of rice. Or
how much is even a bag of rice?
Over 100,000 naira.
Oh my God! A bag of rice. I couldn't remember when the bag of rice was 37,000 naira.
It's really funny. And
even 25. At the point, it was even 18,000 naira. But look at where we are today. And it's so unfortunate that this is Nigeria. And Nigeria is known for natural resources.
Blessed.
Which we are blessed. Then we have agriculture. Then we also Nigeria is a place for good tourism.
Exactly.
These are things that build a nation, that boost the economy of the nation. But I wonder what our leaders are looking at. Everyone's attention is on the oil, and look at what is happening right now. in the oil sector. Why not go back to agriculture, explore more of our natural resources? Then we make Nigeria at least a tourist center for people to come. I could remember when my friend came visiting from the United States of America, and we have to go around. You know, the appreciation of the things that they were seeing is something else. You know, we went to different places, and it will amaze you to know that Nigeria, this is just Abuja, we didn't go out of Abuja as a matter of fact, but just in Abuja, there are tourist centers that you can take people to, and they will appreciate this country. But then I'm still surprised. I don't know why the natural resources, the agricultural resources that we have, the tourism that we have, I wonder why it's not been explored. I think more needs to be done in this area, so that at least if we want to revamp the economy of Nigeria, it's not just wooing investors. There are things we can do internally. I spoke with a former ambassador, and he was saying something. He said, well, Nigeria is a rich country, that we don't need to beg any country to revamp our economy to be one of the highest economy in the whole world. And that's where we are today. Our Queen, whether anyone is celebrating Christmas or not, I am celebrating Christmas. It's not all about the dates, okay? It's not all about the celebration, but it's about the personality that is being celebrated, and that is Jesus Christ, okay? So as it is, we will go on a quick break. After this break, Queen and Ramsey will return, and it will be time for us to go through the pages of the newspaper, so we can bring you to speed with the major headlines for today. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Well, many thanks for staying with us. It's time for us to bring you up to speed with the news making headlines on the front pages of our national dailies. Well, we'll be starting with the Nation newspaper this morning. A big story we have here says CJN, how to stop conflicting rulings. And right under it says frivolous attacks on judges to attract consequences. You find that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And here we have, just above the nameplate of the Nation newspaper, we have NANTA seeks extension of FCCPC probe of Air Peace to other airlines. And we have Obi visits Afe Babalola in Ado-Ekiti. Farotimi gets 50 million naira bill. That's the right that we have underneath the paper there. We also have better days ahead with Tinubu's reform, says Omokri, I beg your pardon, says Omokri. RMAFC insists on constitutional rights to VAT allocation. Well, these are the stories we have on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Let's take a look at The Guardian, which Ramsey will bring to us.
Thank you very much, Queen. Let's quickly look at The Guardian newspaper this morning and see what we have right there. On The Guardian newspaper, we have some major headlines right there today, and I'm beginning from the big story which says 1.1 million displaced and 77% of IDPs seek to return home, says NBS. Details of that you can get on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. Then I also have this one which says the federal government assures Nigerians of positive economic outlook in 2025. Positive economic outlook in 2025. All right, that's so good. Well, Nigerians are even saying, well, the 2025 is not far away from here, but then between now and 2025, what is going to be the situation that will actually bridge a lot of Nigerians into this expectation come 2025. More stories still coming from The Guardian newspaper this morning. Tax earnings from companies up by 39% to 5.22 trillion naira amid survivor concern. I take that again. Tax earnings from companies up by 39% to 5.22 trillion naira amid survivor concern. The details of that you can get on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. And here is another story again. High Chief Government Ipunopolo, okay, that's Tompolo, the Ibe, okay, all right, of Ijaw Nation of Parazatan. Okay, it's like that's more like an advertorial, and it's on the page of The Guardian newspaper. We won't be able to take that. This one says the Southeast senators backtrack on tax reform bills, urge wider consultation. Details you can find on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. Southeast senators backtrack on tax reform bills, urge wider consultation. One thing is this: the tax reform has stirred up a lot, from the north to the west to the south and even to the central. A lot of people are complaining. You know, some persons are saying, I saw an article yesterday, and the person was concerned about the fact that this tax bill, this reform, is targeted at a particular region of the country, while some other persons will tell you, hey, this is to better the life of the average Nigerians. I've had a guest on this program who have actually thrown light on this tax issue, this tax bill, how it came about, how the committee was set up, and they came out with that reform. But as it is right now, it is so good that it is undergoing some form of review right now, so that it will capture the complaint, the interest of every region of the country. Because as a matter of fact, if we're talking about tax here, one of the ways, okay, income is being generated for most countries is through tax. And some persons will tell you, if you want to talk about tax, people should pay tax based on their earning. And this tax reform, the bill is addressing that issue in a way when it's been said that if you're earning below $1 million naira or thereabout, you will be exempted from tax. Then the issue of multiplicity of tax payment is also going to be addressed. But these are some of the issues that this bill is going to address. But then there are other aspects of it, all right, that has to do with some form of sharings that will affect some parts of the country, not as positive as it will affect other parts of the country. And that has stirred a lot from stakeholders, not just governors, but from even people who are the big guns of a lot of the states we have in Nigeria. I'm not just talking about the north, even though more of the complaint is coming from the north, and reasons have been advanced why those complaints are actually coming. I think it's so good that this government is listening. One of the important things that a lot of people will actually applaud this government for is that listening ears, because calling on the stakeholders and even the House to revisit that bill again, to do a review, is commendable. But then let's see what the outcome is going to come at the end of the day. Will the dissatisfied part of the country will now be satisfied? That's the major issue. All of us need to be satisfied, and we need to work. It needs to be unity in diversity for a common goal. All right, those are the headlines coming from the Guardian newspaper this morning. At this point in time, I'll hand you over to Queen for the next paper.
Now we're looking at the Punch newspaper. This big story on the Punch newspaper says, no vacancy comments. ACF, Atiku and others lampoon presidency over 2027 poll. And then Rider says Nigerians can vote you out in 2027. Atiku wants presidency, and Akume can't decide who will contest poll. This is PDP here. It's accredited to the PDP. Above the nameplate, we have 3,270 Nigerians gained American citizenship via military service, US, according to the US. And then we have Keyamo, FCCPC differ on Air Peace probe. Also, tax reform, National Assembly caucus meetings delay talks with AGF. Nigeria's debt profile burden for current and next generations, according to Obasanjo. Sanwo-Olu opens Ifako Road Bridge. We see a pictorial representation of the bridge right there, the newly constructed bridge along the Ifako Road, I beg your pardon. Yuletide, South airfares jumped to 287,800 naira. 287,800 naira. I mean, that's a whole lot. This is almost approximately 300,000 naira to fly to the east, to the southeast. It's alarming. I remember when we could just fly, and this is not a return ticket, when we could just take one trip and you're paying 80,000 naira. I mean, that was last year. You could take it last year.
That was early last year.
I mean, the rates, or how much it has skyrocketed. You should be, you're trying to make a trip, say a round trip. You should be having nothing less than at least 500,000. But with the Yuletide season now, almost above 500,000 naira, almost above 500,000 naira to make a trip.
I think what it is even the jet fuel is also scarce. But one of the things that Nigerians were even excited about is the fact that the Dangote refinery was supposed to bring sugar, because apart from just the PMS, we are supposed to have other products from that refinery, and jet fuel is also inclusive. If we have all of that, this pricing, I think, will be better than what it is right now. But this is Nigeria. Everyone will want to take advantage of what is happening to increase prices. You know, I'm not even surprised at all. I'm not surprised. I was even thinking it was going to be as high as 400. And don't be so, this is just, Christmas have not started. By the time, one thing is sure this season, some persons are going to be stranded at the airport. Some persons are going to be stranded at the park. Because sometimes you may have booked, but then the airlines may not be available for one reason or the other. Same thing applies to the vehicles on the road, the buses, the cars, because of the availability of this product. And this gives these transporters the opportunity to hike price they really want. But then when someone is pressed, left for me, like my pastor will always say, if you don't have any reason to travel, there's no reason for traveling. All right, except it is very, very important, except it is necessary, especially in the case of maybe death or something. If it is crucial, or else, if you don't travel for this Christmas, you can still travel for the next Christmas. Nothing will happen to you.
You won't die. Well, we have still on the Punch newspaper, we have defamation. Fayotimi gets 50 million naira bill to submit passport. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, here we have Ajayi files suit to stop Aiyedatiwa as Ondo governor. Politics. After every election, we see that the opposing party always goes to court and is always filing suit. Well, we see how this pans out.
But see, look at what happened in Kogi State. Okay, look at what happened. In fact, most of the states
in Edo State,
in Edo State too. I think the opposition in Edo State congratulated the non-governor Akpebolo, and as a matter of fact, we are hearing it right now in Ondo, and INEC told us categorically that they've learned from what happened in Edo State, and the election in Ondo State is going to be smooth. Okay, it's going to be smooth. That's what it means. If you tell me you've learned lessons from what happened in Edo State for the forthcoming off-cycle election in Ondo State, I should be at least sure that that election is going to be smooth. But then, would the opposition party will they ever be satisfied with the result of election? Is this part of the war? Well, yesterday I sat down and I was asking someone, I said, why are Nigerians celebrating for Ghana? Even INEC said, well, this is sweet. And one of my colleagues was saying, well, one thing is that the cross-carpeting, the way people cross-carpet in Nigeria, is not like that when you get to Ghana. And it's one of the things that a lot of politicians in this part of the world need to take home. But then, Aiyedatiwa was the sitting governor. He contested and won again. And in this part of the world, someone will tell you, hey, winning a sitting governor, a sitting government is difficult. But then, it is election. Except the court says otherwise. If the court doesn't say otherwise, then Aiyedatiwa still remains the governor of Ondo State. Well, let's see how all of that ends.
Yeah, exactly. So we look forward to the outcomes of all of these suits filing. These are the stories we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Our next point of call will be the Daily Trust, which Ramsey Enokagbo will bring to us.
All right. Okay, the Daily Trust is now. Okay, let me just do News Direct instead of the Daily Trust. News Direct. All right. From the News Direct this morning, Sanwo-Olu Commission Abiola and Nijemo Link Road with bridge. Okay, details of that you can find on page 4. Then this one says equity market slump as investors begin week with 62 billion naira loss. Details you can find on page 14. Anything that has to do with loss right now, I'm not just interested in it, because in this economy, I don't want anyone to lose anything. Okay, your loved ones, your businesses, and that's why it's very important for everyone to be very wise right now. If you're doing your business, know where you put your money. Any business you want to commit your money into right now, you should be very sure of it. Not because someone used a sugar-coated tank, then you go ahead to invest in what you are not sure of. You will come back regretting, and that shouldn't be our portion. All right. As it is, still from the news, Nigerian News Direct this morning. This one says 2025 budget is the kicker. Federal government to borrow 9.3 trillion naira. Projects 2 trillion naira for debt servicing. 2025 budget, federal government to borrow 9.3 trillion naira. Then for projects, they are going to be borrowing 2 trillion naira for debt servicing. Details you can find on page 3. A lot of Nigerians will say, what's happening? What is happening? For how long do you think we need to keep borrowing? Every economy borrow, every nation borrow, as a matter of fact. But then, when borrowings are being done, and Nigerians will tell you, we don't even see what this money is being borrowed is used for. When you say you want to borrow money because you need to do this, you need to do that, and Nigerians have seen it, a lot of people will not complain. But then, my personal life is this is one thing that I do. If I'm getting a penny from anyone, I know that there is something that I will do to get that penny to pay back. Any money you're borrowing and you don't have anything, all right, any plan in place for the payment, I don't think it's so good. But then I think the federal government know what they are doing. At the end of the day, let's see what that will translate into. But what Nigerians are really waiting for is when they can actually go to the market and buy food enough that they can feed themselves and their families, and Nigerians can say, oh, glory be to God, now we can have 3 square meal. Okay, still from the Nigerian News Direct, now to the big story. The kicker says, insecurity, we are hitting them hard. Lokarawa terror will soon be history. That's coming from the Chief of Army Staff. That's our hope. You know, so many things were said about Boko Haram, and like a joke, we are where we are today. But then I think it's so good that these people are, you know, when Boko Haram started, some persons were saying they are not terror, they are this, they are people that are dissatisfied with, and they were taken for granted. That's what I feel. And it has deteriorated to where we are today. But then if this Lokarawa or whatever they are called are being given a run for their money, if they are being faced squarely right now, I think it's going to go a long way. And that's what Nigerians want, because we don't have more insecurity. What's happening in Nigeria right now, additional to the state of the nation, the economy is just too hard for Nigerians to bear. Then we are bringing in some insecurity again. I don't think that's good enough. So if the Chief of Army Staff, Lokede, is coming to say, well, we will do something to make sure Lokarawa becomes a thing of the past, it is a good one. I think it's better that they are being faced squarely from the beginning before they get to the level that they will not be handled very well anymore. Some riders to that story. The first rider says cross-border cooperation critical in tackling terror group. Then the second rider says stresses need for military to step up effort in fighting terrorism. Very important. You can get the details of that on page 3 of the Nigerian News Direct. Now let's get to other stories from the Nigerian News Direct, and this one says Governor Namadi signs Jigawa Electricity Regulatory Commission bill into law. Yeah, this is what came to my mind. This is what came to my mind. What if this is being done, okay, in all the states? I think, was it the House of Rep or the National Assembly a few days ago, we are saying something about the fact that the privatization, okay, of the electricity, the power sector, the privatization is not doing Nigerians good than we expected. And that's true, because the categorization that some persons are in band A, band B, C, and whatever is not even going well with a lot of Nigerians. And as a matter of fact, you can get the details of that on page 3. Governor Namadi signs Jigawa Electricity Regulatory Commission Bill into law. Then this one says the 2025 budget. Zulum presents 584.76 billion naira budget, prioritizes education, economic development. One governor that has been outspoken recently and that have done so much, especially this is one thing, this is one state that was hard hit by the climatic condition, the erosion recently. And we are hearing that the governor, okay, is presenting the budget right now and taking into consideration prioritizing education and economic development. It's a good one. One of the areas that a lot of people don't pay too much attention to is education, health, very important. I'm not saying other sectors are not important, but then education, health, very important. And these are the things that the average Nigerians need to excel in whatever they do as citizens of this beautiful nation. Nigeria is a great nation. I'll keep saying that. All right, moving away from there, let's get to this one. Okay, I think that's going to be the last as we get to the next paper.
Well, let's look at the next paper for you now. Quite a number of stories right there. Now let's look at, this time around, let's look at the Daily Times for you. The Daily Times. We have big story here, says affirmative action for women, a necessary corrective measure, I beg your pardon, says Abbas. And we have above the nameplate, Obasanjo, God-chosen leaders always thrive. You find that story on the front page of the Daily Times right there. And then VP Shettima praises Nigeria's role in global economy. Vice President Shettima praises Nigeria's role in global economy. Wike commends judiciary for resilience, professionalism at annual conference. And we have opposition triumph in Ghana. Signpost finds of APC's oppressive rule in 2027, says PDP. And we have FRSC to prosecute passenger for assaulting officers. All these are the stories we have on the front page of the Daily Times for you that we brought to you. We'll have to take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll bring you the AM news, and then the conversation continues on topical matters of national discourse. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily. while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the Global AM News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. The Nigerian Army has performed a symbolic lowering and hoisting of the command flag at Army headquarters as Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede assumed command as the 24th Chief of Army Staff. Oluyede was appointed by President Bola Tinubu on 30th October in an acting capacity following the death of his predecessor, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. The symbolic lowering and hoisting of the command flag, which signifies the beginning of his tenure, came after the Senate and House of Representatives confirmed his appointment. Meanwhile, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede has assured Nigerians that the Lukarawa terror group would soon be a thing of the past, citing ongoing joint operations with the armies of neighboring countries. Oluyede stated this while addressing State House correspondents after a closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu at Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. The Army Chief highlighted the importance of collaboration with neighboring countries to tackle the cross-border threat posed by the group. The Lukarawa group is believed to have emerged around 2016 in Sokoto State as a self-defense militia initiated by local leaders to combat banditry. However, it evolved into a radical faction imposing strict religious laws and exerting control over local communities. President Bola Tinubu has lauded the achievement of Nigerian-born Dr. Bolu Ogunyemi, a clinical associate professor of medicine at the Memorial University of Newfoundland, on his election as president-elect of the Canadian Medical Association. In a press release signed by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu described Ogunyemi's emergence as a testament to visionary leadership, dedication to excellence, and compassionate commitment to enhancing the welfare of others. The President celebrated the historic milestone, noting Ogunyemi's remarkable contributions as a dermatologist based in St. John's, Newfoundland, and his role as a visiting specialist in Labrador City since 2018. The National Assembly Service Commission has approved the appointment of Andrew Munaya Uoba as the new clerk of the Senate. This was contained in a statement by the Executive Chairman of the Commission, Emmanuel Anyigo. He says the Commission approved the appointment, which takes effect from December 11, 2024, at its meeting held on As its meeting held on December 4, 2024, before the appointment, Umoba was the Secretary of the Directorate of Legislative Budget and Planning. Dr. Obasi Ukoha now takes the position. Human rights activist Dele Farotimi has been granted a 50 million naira bail by the Federal High Court in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. The presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the 2023 election, Omoyele Sowore, via his X-handle, disclosed the court's decision. The court granted Farotimi a 50 million naira bail with a surety in life sum and landed property. The case was adjourned to January 29, 2025. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, has attributed the country's education and healthcare delivery to corruption. Abbas stated this in Abuja on the occasion of the International Anti-Corruption Day, which was held at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja. International Anti-Corruption Day has been observed annually on December 9th since the passage of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption on October 31st, 2003, to raise public awareness for anti-corruption. In his keynote address, Abbas noted that if not curbed, corruption will continue to constitute a formidable obstacle to the nation's collective progress. The Benue State chapter of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria has locked up the gates of the State High Court in Makurdi over the non-implementation of the new minimum wage. Reports gathered say the High Court in Makurdi observed members of the union barricading the gates and preventing entry into the premises. The action, according to the Assistant Secretary of the Union in the state, Jolie David, was as a result of the non-implementation of the 75,000 naira new minimum wage to members. David said the union had issued notification of indefinite strike action over non-payment of the new minimum wage. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the November 16th governorship election in Ondo State, Agbola Ajayi, says he has filed a petition at the Ondo State Election Petition Tribunal against the victory of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. This development came 24 days after the governorship poll. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared Aiyedatiwa of the All Progressives Congress as the winner of the election, having polled a total of 366,781 votes to defeat his closest rival, Ajayi, who had 117,845 votes. Speaking with journalists at his party secretariat in Akura, the state capital, Ajayi disclosed that his legal team had filed the petition at the election tribunal with the hope of getting justice from the court. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has urged the public to disregard a fake list of ambassadorial nominees circulating on social media. This was contained in a statement issued by the ministry spokesman, Kimiabi Ebiofa. The ministry clarified that no such appointment had been made, emphasizing that the appointment of ambassadors is solely the prerogative of the president and no such appointment have been made in that regard. In the meantime, the ad hoc staff recruited by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for the November 16th governorship election in Ondo State have accused the commission of allegedly failing to pay their allowances. 22 days after the poll, workers numbering over 17,000 expressed frustration over the delayed payments despite promises made by INEC to disburse their allowances shortly after the election. Meanwhile, the Commission spokesperson in Ondo State, Dr. Temitope Akomo, refuted the allegations, stating that the Commission had begun paying the allowances but noted that some delays were caused by banking issues. The Director General of the Kano State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Lamin Dambapa, has called on all intending pilgrims in the state to ensure the completion of their Hajj deposit. Dambapa, in a press statement made available to newsmen at the end of a one-hour radio program, emphasized the importance of adhering to the prescribed timeline for the sacred pilgrimage. He clarified that the annual Hajj pilgrimage is a fixed religious obligation that cannot be deferred under any circumstances. You're watching the Global AM News, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When the AM News returns, oil prices climb on China optimism and Syria tensions. Details of this, as well as business and sports stories, coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the AM News. In business, world oil prices have jumped on fresh moves by China to boost its economy, and as traders tracked an uncertain future of Syria and the wider crude-rich Middle East. Major stock markets diverged as investors reacted to political crisis in South Korea and France, and gold, seen as a haven investment, gained nearly 1%. Oil prices rose more than 1% as traders tracked developments in Syria after President Bashar al-Assad fled the country over the weekend as Islamist-led rebels swept into Damascus. Investors also reacted to news China, where President Xi Jinping and other top leaders say they would adopt a more relaxed approach to monetary policy as they hashed out plans to boost the economy next year. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food, Ali Abdullahi, has reiterated the federal government's commitment in improving food security in the country. The minister made this known on a television program, noting that the government's commitment to food security is with the launch of a new initiative that is aimed at improving agricultural productivity and mechanization. He further stressed the government's ongoing efforts to addressing the challenges in the agricultural sector, as food security is a top priority under the renewed hope agenda of the current administration. The National Information Technology Development Agency has issued a warning about a new version of the Grandororo banking malware, which is targeting users globally through sophisticated phishing campaigns. An advisory released by the agency's Computer Emergency Readiness and Response team described Grandororo as a significant threat, using what it calls advanced techniques, including screen overlay attacks and remote device control, to steal sensitive information such as banking credentials and personal data. The country's technology regulator explained that the malware is primarily distributed via phishing emails and fraudulent websites that deceive victims into downloading malicious softwares disguised as legitimate updates or documents. Residents in Kaduna, Kano, and Katsina states have lamented the scarcity of cash, especially as the Christmas celebration approaches. Some point of sale vendors lamented the unnecessary cash shortage, as banks were no longer dispensing cash of more than 20,000 naira, calling for urgent action by concerned authorities to not hamper the forthcoming Christmas and end-of-year festivities. Also, some customers patronizing POS vendors have decried the high service rates, saying the bank also charges for transactions. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima had during the 2024 Bankers Committee retreat in Abuja urged Nigerian deposit money banks to ensure the seamless availability of Naira note to the banking public. Nigeria has ranked second among African countries with the most artificial intelligence firms in Africa, solidifying its position as a key tech hub. Research by the Center of Intellectual Property and Information Technology Law in Kenya estimates that there are around 2,400 AI firms across Africa, with 40% of them being startups. Nigeria, often considered the heart of Africa's tech ecosystem, has attracted attention from GTEX, the world's largest technology event. Debuting in Marrakesh, Morocco, GTEX is set to open investment opportunities in Nigeria by 2025, further cementing the country's place as the largest startup ecosystem in Africa. The National Bureau of Statistics says foreign investment in Nigeria's telecommunications sector fell sharply to $14.4 million in the third quarter of 2024, marking an 87% decline from the $113.42 million recorded in the second quarter. In this context, capital importation refers to the inflow of foreign funds or investments into Nigeria's telecommunications sector, which includes all forms of capital brought into country by foreign entities for the purpose of business investment. The Bureau revealed in its capital importation report that the figure reflected a 77% year-on-year drop compared with the $64.05 million attracted in the same period of 2023. On the foreign scene, Ghanaian actor Johnny Domelo has secured a seat in Parliament representing the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency. The actor turned politician, running on the platform of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), won the 2024 Ghana general elections held on Saturday by garnering 40,561 votes. The 40-year-old, who expressed deep gratitude to his supporters and promised to deliver on his campaign pledges, defeated incumbent Lydia El-Hassan of the New Patriotic Party (NPP), who received 27,377 votes. Russia has declined to confirm reports that toppled Syrian President Bashar al-Assad had fled to Moscow, insisting it was surprised by the rebel takeover. The Kremlin spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, told journalists he has nothing to say as for Assad's whereabouts, adding that if Russia granted asylum to Assad and his family, this would be a decision taken by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Reports say Assad and his family were in Moscow hours after he fled the country as Islamist-led rebels entered Damascus. Assad's son has been studying in the Russian capital. Kremlin is the official residence of the President of Russia, located in Moscow, and serves as historic fortress and the central hub of Russian political power. Less than a week after the South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol plunged the country into chaos by briefly imposing martial law, the Justice Ministry in South Korea has said that the president has been banned from leaving the country. Yoon sent special forces and helicopters to Parliament on the night of December 3rd before lawmakers forced him to rescind the order by rejecting his decree. The hugely unpopular leader narrowly survived an impeachment motion in Parliament on Saturday, even as huge crowds braved freezing temperatures to call for his ouster. However, despite remaining in office, a clutch of investigations has been closing in on Yoon and his close allies, including a probe for alleged insurrection. In sports, Cole Palmer has rewritten Premier League history, becoming the most reliable penalty taker in the competition's history. In Chelsea's thrilling 4-3 victory over Tottenham Hotspur, Palmer converted 2 penalties, taking his perfect record to 12 penalties scored from 12 attempts. This feat surpasses the legendary Yaya Toure, who scored all 11 penalties he took for Manchester City during his illustrious career. Christian Pulisic will miss AC Milan's Champions League clash with Red Star Belgrade with a calf injury. The Serie A club AC Milan made the announcement saying that Pulisic had hurt the soleus muscle of his right calf during Milan's 2-1 defeat at new league leaders Atalanta on Friday, when he was forced off in the first half with the scores level. It stated the new test will be carried out in a week's time. USA attacker police could also miss Milan's home fixture with struggling Genoa in Serie A on Sunday. And that's it on the Global AM News, and came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Don't forget that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on NightStreamSat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agabaha, and Global Morning continues with myself and Ramsey Agbo as we bring you topical issues of national discourse. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper review, latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
of fact, so many things are happening in Nigeria today, and one of the basic questions that a lot of Nigerians ask is, when are we going to get out of this? But Nigerians are of the school of thought that there are certain things that can be done looking inwards that can help us salvage the situation, or maybe curtail the ripple effect of what we are facing right now as a nation. This is Global Morning on Global Television, and here is the first conversation for the day, where we'll be looking at the state of the nation. Critically, everyone knows what's happening in Nigeria right now, and I don't need anyone, all right, to tell me that Nigerians are eager to get an answer to the several questions, million or billion or trillion questions that they have in their hearts. People are asking questions every day. How did we get here? When are we going to get out of this? We've heard oftentimes that there will soon be light at the end of the tunnel. But then, when is that light going to come up? That's the question a lot of Nigerians are asking. But then some experts have actually come out to say, well, this policy is taking us to the right direction, because there is no economy that gets stable without going through the thick and thin. And that's exactly what they feel Nigerian economy is going through right now. Today we're looking at the state of the nation, and of course critical attention on the import of cutting down cost of governance in an economy such as this. Joining me on the conversation today is a chartered conciliator. In fact, he is actually a legal practitioner, and he is a notary public, a human rights activist. He is a solicitor, and he's joining me on the conversation today as we look at what the cutting down of cost of governance is in its real sense, and what we need to do to revamp this economy. I have Mr. Nduka Ugbo right here with me today. It's good to have you in the studio this morning.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Well, the Christmas is here right now, but Nigerians are still saying, well, we may not be celebrating this Christmas the way we have planned it because of the economy of the nation. But one thing is sacrosanct, and that is the fact that it's not all about the birth sometimes, but the personality, which is the Savior Jesus Christ. Now to the economy of the nation, which is one of the major pointer to celebrations everywhere in the world. When we talk about cutting down the cost of governance, a lot of people may not know what it means. But then, as it is right now, let's get to know what cutting down cost of governance is.
Actually, when we talk about cutting down the cost of governance, we are looking at a situation where the budget should be properly allocated and utilized. Like in Nigeria, we describe that recurrent expenditure that deals with issues of paying of salaries, expenditures on overhead, issues that border on paying of pensions and all that, do outweigh the budget for capital expenditure that have to do with developments, human capital development, on education, on health, provision of infrastructure and all the rest. We spend so much money on outgoings instead of having enough money to provide facilities that will enhance people's lives. And the reason for that is because our politicians create a bloated expenditure, which is not supposed to be. It's only when you come to places like civil service, you see proper scale of payment of salaries. But when you come to public servants, those in the National Assembly, those in the executive, the ministers, and all the rest, the kind of money that they appropriate to themselves is out of this world, which is not supposed to be. These are the things put together that make us to spend money recklessly in this country and make the cost to rise. Another aspect is this: we have about 37 MDAs. We have 45 ministers, coupled with the ministers of state. And the executive, we always want to have many of these ministers appointed because they want to provide job for the boys. Those who help them to campaign and all the rest want to create job for them. And by the time all these numbers have been put forward, it blows the expenses we are into. Another aspect is that we lack transparency and accountability, public accountability in governance in this country. Like when you come to award of contracts that are supposed to experience competitive bidding, most of the time it is overlooked here. So that they just award contracts at any rate to the people they want because of what they stand to gain. Not thinking of in terms of competence and proper assessment. All these things lead to bloated expenses. And the country also is supposed to think of issues of e-governance, e-procurement, like many other countries are doing. When you do that, issues like I had the chairman of the National Population Commission saying that there will be census in 2025. We should be thinking of e-census, where at the comfort of your home with your handset, you can easily get identified. The same thing with the election. If you do that, you avoid all these manual expenses of traveling, of that and that and that. So these are the things put together that make excessive expenditure in this country. And we keep on borrowing money to service this, which is unhealthy.
Okay, if I get you, you're particular about the fact that the civil service are the only ones that have a fixed or maybe a structured salary scale. Now, in civil service, there are so many things that happens that actually contribute to maybe, or how do I put it, expanded resources, as a matter of fact. And for the fact that there is this belief that it is government property, that people are careless. Because when we want to talk about cutting down the cost of governance, we need not to, from our perspective, just look at the people in governance, the public office holders, the politicians, let me just call them politicians. In public service, in civil service, I beg your pardon, there are a lot of things that happens. Not managing, things, vehicles, the way they are reckless about vehicles, office bloated expenses and at the end of the day they want budgets to be made and this money is not used judiciary. How do we handle a situation like that? Because a lot of people pay attention more to politicians, not knowing that individuals also have roles to play.
Yeah, exactly. When Obasanjo was in power, he did something very commendable by reducing the number of vehicles attached to each ministry and even to each permanent secretary. Where he discovered that the permanent secretary used to have about 15 vehicles attached to him or her, and all the vehicles are fueled, they are maintained, there's budget for fuel and maintenance, drivers, provided. Driver for taking the family to the markets, to amusement areas and all those. He cut down drastically on that. And he also fought the issue of ghost workers. These are creations of people in civil service where they have a lot of names listed on payroll who are actually not existing, but their money keeps running. And each governor has tried on this issue of reduction of ghost workers, and it's important to always review these areas effectively. So if there is proper check and balance, if there are probity in the use of these equipment, vehicles and all that, the cost of governance could be reduced. But it can only happen when the president and the people under him are honest enough to think of looking at what happens. Because if you have a president who is also interested in flamboyance, there's no way you can look down to what happens in these ministries. But when you get a president who is disciplined, then you can now think of getting down to all these places to reduce the cost. So we actually need seriousness and transparency. We need that. Look, that is the reason why you see that Nigerians were much attracted to the person of P2B toward the 2023 election, because it's an embodiment of that attitude. Right?
So there's this saying that you wouldn't know, okay? So many things happen when people are in power. When people are in power, there is a norm already. Okay, there is a norm, the way it's been done, and it's one of the major problems that we even have in the civil service, because as someone said, when a permanent secretary is coming in, the people who are already there will tell this is how we do it. Okay, this is how we do it, even if we want to put things right. And you know what it means for you to have people who are not supporting your administration as a leader. If your subordinates are not supporting you, no matter how good you are, you can't be successful. Do you think if Peter Obi was there, is it all about the individual or all about the system?
Now, you see, when we are talking of Peter Obi, when he was governor of Anambra State, there was that effective check and balance at all levels. It's an embodiment of a person, like what Obasanjo did. If permanent secretaries want to misbehave, but you have a president who is detailed, number one, how to exemplify it in his own life, not this issue of having a convoy, endless convoys and all that, but you cut down on yourself first of all, then you make it to trickle down. That's the way it works. Because there is this saying that people do not do what you expect, they do what you inspect. It is capacity to inspect what people do that really matters, and that's what we need in this country. We need good inspectors as presidents of this country. We need good inspectors as ministers. We need good inspectors at all levels of management. If we have that, like we have in other countries, you see things work. But when you see people who are just interested in praise singing and all that, then you raise a coterie of sycophants who will come and tell you all manner of lies, and you believe that things are working, whereas everything is comatose. So you need good inspectors. Look, when Peter Obi was governor of Anambra State, there was this case, he wanted to invest money in agriculture, all right? So people from his town wanted to spearhead that unit, that this man is from our place, so we should be the people at the helm of affairs because it's our son. He now said, look, this in my town we are not so good in agriculture. We have other things where we sell. So you cannot come to superintend over people who are agriculturists. His town people were so much annoyed. He didn't care. That's the kind of person. So that's the kind of thing
don't you think, that was one of the things, Nigerians, we are saying so many things in 2023 and made a lot of people through their support. Nigerians can talk, Nigerians can actually complain. When you're talking about a state and you're talking about a country, these are two different entities. Now some persons were like, the now president did very well in Lagos State. We want him to be the president of Nigeria. And the same people using their mouth now to say, well, Nigeria is a country, Lagos is a state. He's doing a different thing and all of that, because Nigerians are very difficult to satisfy. The reason why I'm saying this is cutting down cost of governance does not just have to do with the federal level alone, and it's so good that we even took it to the state right now, and it even trickled down to the local governments too. But then don't you think cutting down cost of governance, is the way it is, the measures are different for each tiers of government?
They are not different. They are not different. It's about the individual. I still go back to the person of Obasanjo. That was federal level. What he did with permanent secretaries, we all witnessed it. That's federal. And once he did that, it was under Obasanjo that there was a vote on those who were directors, deputy directors, assistant directors, to find out whether their qualifications met their position. And many were laid off. Yes, that's federal. Because it was known that many people were not qualified, but they used manipulation and got to those positions. They were shown the way out. You know, that's what it is about the individual. And because of Tinubu, even some good things Tinubu did in Lagos, he is one that is championing the issue of tax reforms. These tax reforms is very good, very noble, but need fine-tuning. The one people are kicking against it, there's need to fine-tune a good number, because what is in this tax reform, the major thing is want to reduce multiplicity of taxes. You can't, if you establish a pharmaceutical office or shop, there are about 17 taxes the person has to pay. It is the same thing with any other business are doing. Excessive taxation kills our businesses, whereas we remove taxes for foreigners to come in and invest, but we kill our own people with excessive taxes. So if it is streamlined, it will make the country to thrive. So that drive in taxation will be in Lagos. It will bring it in. But like I said, there's need for fine-tuning. But the aspect where it's not getting right somehow is that it's also trying to make the mistake that Buhari made. That's what we are saying is it how do they put it? You are picking so many of the appointments from your Lagos Aziz. More than 70%. That is all right. There might be a good stretch.
But you know, there's something that I noticed with Nigerians.
Yes.
I could remember during the past administration, we had the same complaint.
Yes.
That, the then president was giving appointments to people from his own region.
Yes.
And the same complaint we're having now. Don't you think if we have somebody from the south, we may still have that same problem? And why do we keep having that problem?
During Obasanjo, it was not there. Obasanjo decentralized appointments.
Obasanjo seems to be a very perfect.
To be frank with this country, so far, Obasanjo is the best. Yes, I say with every boldness.
I beg your pardon, Barrister. Do you know that some other persons can come and say their own point of view to say, well, you're saying Obasanjo was the best for you. Some other persons will come and say, all right, during Obasanjo's time, this was what he did that I didn't like. Do you know that it might depend on individual differences?
But then we just oppose the facts. During the Jonathan also, the appointments were not decided. They were not decided. In fact, the North accused Jonathan that he favored the Igbo so much. Southeast. It was not decided. It was South. It was not decided under Obasanjo. It was not decided under Jonathan. It came under Buhari that we expected a kind of evil spirit. It shocked everybody.
And you think those appointments contributed to maybe high cost of governance?
It does. You see, cronyism. When you see people appointing people to tailor towards their side, they want to hide a lot of things and get those who will be helping them to launder resources and all that in order to cover their tracks. That is what is there. So with that, any kind of expenses that goes on, they don't care because the person is protecting their interest. You see, but when you have an even spread, it makes things more healthy. That's how a country should be run. In this country, we need to understand, if you win election as a governor, you are not the governor of your local government. You're everybody's governor. If you're a Christian, you're governor to Christians, to Muslims, to animists, other worshippers, and all that, those who even are free thinkers. If you're a president, you want a president to your religion or your region. So that is what needs to be done and instituted. But you see somebody, one made such statement that you had only 5% support from Southeast, and because of the expecting to, that's very horrible. Once you get into power, it's not a question of who voted you or who didn't vote you. The resources you have to manage is not coming from your region, it's not coming from your religion, it's for everybody. And that is even what is contained in the oath that they swear. You see, in as much as people believe that they can do anything, the oath has effect. That's why this popular actor, Peter Edochie, is advocating that we should stop swearing in our leaders with the Bible and the Quran. That we should start using the tokens from the shrines, because that our shrines don't show mercy like God. So that by the time they bend their name as a position,
the Tanzania is right now. Okay, that's the Tanzania is right now talking about an economy such as this, because what you're saying right now, another president coming into office again will still have a repeat of the same thing, and money is being used in these offices by these people, okay, whether it's a bloated maybe officers or whatever it is. But now, as it is right now, as we try to round up, as a matter of fact, looking at the economy of the nation, which aspect, which area do you think cost needs to be cut down? This just like a recommendation, like you were talking about the tax just now.
Yes.
A lot of I keep telling Nigerians, if anything happened in Nigeria right now, it's not easy to be a father. You are a father. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's not easy to be a father. If anything happens in Nigeria, the first person a lot of people talk to is the president.
Yes.
But this tax reform that we're even talking about right now is a recommendation coming from a committee, okay, which was it wasn't even passed straight, sent to the National Assembly to look at, and then because of the complaint coming, the president gave a listening ear, and there is a review which is ongoing. So to an extent, some of these things that happen, it's been done by people, just that the president is at the helm of affairs and needs to look at that. That's by the way. Now let's look at the economy of the nation, the kind of economy, the dwindling economy that we have right now. What do you think can be done, if not totally, but then can minimize the cost of governance, which if channeled into the economy can boost the economy to an extent?
Now, starting from the president, he needs to cut down on the appointment of his assistants and all that. He needs to cut down on his convoy. All right. He needs to cut down on travels. There are travels that are necessary and musts. There are the ones that can be avoided. If he does that, he can now supervise the cutting down of costs of people under him, and down to the MDAs, ministries, agents, departments and agencies. You need to look at that. And two, you have to also be conscious of the fact that Nigerians are already overstretched. The issue of increment and everything is not right. Okay, they struggle to make minimum wage 70,000, and then there's increment all over. Increment in VAT, increment in electricity tariff, increment in anything you can think about is inflated. CAC, cost of registration or incorporation, is inflated everywhere. So at the end of the day, the so-called minimum wage is a caricature. It amounts to nothing. Like we mentioned,
some states are paying higher than the 70s.
But even the higher they are talking about, we mentioned Christmas is around the corner. You can't even afford what to feed your family with. Now, look, if you go to our government hospitals, you can't afford the cost of conducting tests before you talk of drugs. If you want to treat malaria per person now in Nigeria, at least you'll be looking at 7,000 or 10,000. If you have a family of 50, how many are going to afford it? There are times you see in a family everybody is down with malaria, and to treat them, people are trying all kinds of things. Those who were criticizing Agbo before, even if you can afford Agbo now, you are quite a strong person,
which is not even recommended.
It's not recommended, but people have to go there because they can't afford what happens in hospitals. So the increasing the cost of medication is not healthy. But this is, I'm talking of government hospitals. Now, outside, go to the private. Where because of all things are increased, we are squeezing life out of ourselves. It is not healthy at all. You don't talk about transportation now, because of the other day when we are celebrating that Portugal refinery had come on stream, only to discover that it sells to all these distributors at an amount 75 naira higher than that retail that we private. So there's something to celebrate. It came on stream, it's not helping us. We are not feeling it in the filling station. So all these things need to be reviewed downwards to make life reasonable. Look, now if a vehicle that contains food items loses control on the road and falls, before people will help to protect the owner, but now they beat the owner, yes, and cut away with everything.
Nigerians are hungry.
And not only hungry, people are confused and disappointed and frustrated. Now, those who manage to farm, like the president was encouraging people to farm, which is good. People go at night, use handset touch to harvest people's produce in the farm. This is a general trend now.
All right, well, this is where we find ourselves right now in this economy. But then, I think one very major thing is the fact that if we can cut down the cost of governance, it will go a long way. But finally, before I let you go, most times we talk about cutting down cost of governance. What about people cutting down their lifestyles? Because there are even individuals who are living very bogus life to the detriment of other Nigerians. How do I mean? Nigerians take advantage of whatever happens to increase the price of goods and services, not minding whether the money is even in circulation. Most times we talk about the government all the time, the people are complaining, but what about the one the people are doing? What would be your advice to Nigerians before we bring this discussion to a close?
Now the truth is this: once first of the year removed, the ripple effect came on. When people buy produce from the farm, to transport it is the problem. The cost of transportation, and then the rates you pay to government agents who are on the roads. At the end of the day, the person that had to sell this thing had to build in. It's not supposed to be excessive, but there's no way it can get down because of all this spiral effect that people are facing. Talking about living beggars lifestyle, except those in government.
There's not always in government. There are some people. Do you remember there was a time that was it the IG also talked about maybe removing security agencies from individuals? Okay, you are yes. Practitioners. Yes. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
These are individuals. These are not governments. And these are people that oppress other average Nigerians, even though they are not in government, just because of a status quo. Their position. Most times it's not government alone that needs to cut down cost of spending or bogus life. And all of this, I feel, will translate to boosting the economy in a way.
On a serious note. Actually, there's need for people to be disciplined. But to be frank with you, the state of the economy have disciplined a wider percentage of this country. Compulsory discipline. Because if you get to the market now, no matter how much you have, you are going in with a leather. Everything enters into a small leather. No matter how much. Because whatever it touches so high. So that has helped in forcing discipline on people. Those who will be extravagant, that will be very strange, and which is not healthy and not recommended. The truth also is that those who are extravagant are also attracting enemies to themselves. Because if they are getting attacked, they should not blame anybody. Because people are choked up. If anybody displays now, some people are by the sidelines who are going to teach you some lesson. So it's good to be disciplined.
All right, it's good to be disciplined, and of course, I have with me right here Barrister Obo Undoka. He is a legal practitioner. He is a notary public, and he is a chartered mediator and conciliator and a human rights activist. We're talking about the state of the nation, and we're able to look at the input. How important is it to cut down cost of governance, okay, from the area of governance and even to that of individuals, because there are some Nigerians that if they have channeled the money that they have the right way, it will still boost the economy and put a smile in the life of someone or on the faces of people around them, instead of living a bogus and very flamboyant life. And he has said something very vital. Nigerians are going through so much right now, so if you want to live your life, you need to live it within the confine of what you have. Gone are those days when people cut their clothes according to the size of their body, but now they cut their clothes according to the size of the cloth. And that is a self-discipline that has been imposed on Nigerians by the state of the nation. This is going to be the end of the first discussion. We're coming in again with another discussion with a different guest altogether on Global Morning. Thank you so much for coming around, Paris.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Continue. Don't go anywhere far away from your screen, because another very interesting discussion will be coming after this break. Do stay with us. So many things happening in Nigeria, and it was so good that that first discussion has to touch the areas that a lot of people are so concerned about. But then if you ask me, which area in particular are Nigerians not concerned about right now? Is it the policies of this administration? I was saying something and I was thinking about it deeply. And that's the fact that when it is good, when it is time for glory, everyone will want to take the glory. But when it is time for the wilderness experience, as I may call it, the blame goes to one father. It's not easy to be a father of a house, but then every policy that comes from a father of the house, whether positive or negative, whatever the effect of it is, it goes back to the father most times, even though the children want to say, that's my father, I'm proud of you, when it goes well. Today I want to look at some of the policies of this administration, and joining me on the conversation today, I have a man who, I don't know, I'm not talking politics here. When I say tested and trusted, you know, that's one of the slogans that a lot of people use when it comes to politics. But when I say tested and trusted, it means he is someone that I know that I can vie for, that he knows his audience. He knows exactly what's saying, and it's part of the reason we're having him to be part of this conversation today. I have Haruna Bramo. He's a socio-economic expert. It's good to have you in the studio today.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Well, you're looking like the economy of this nation is not affecting you at all. No.
Okay. Maybe it's affecting me in the positives.
In the positive. Yeah, I said that before we got started. I said, sometimes some of the things some people are complaining about is to the advantage of some other persons. That's what I said. Maybe probably you are part of those that is finding it very juicy, even though I'm finding it juicy too, because I want the economy of heaven.
I the economy of heaven. That's interesting.
It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's get to talk about the policies of this administration. You know, a lot of people have different perspective, different thinking, different school of thought as far as these policies are concerned. Then the likes of Honorable Bagudu also have a perspective to these policies. But as it is right now, some persons will tell you we are on the right track, while some other persons are going to tell you the trajectory is something that we can't really place right now. I don't know. What's your school of thought? Where do you belong in this whole thing?
I belong to the group that believe that for the first time we are making a bold attempt to get it right structurally. You know, every economy, a political, social economy policy is better at strengthening upon the structure of a country. And our structure over the years, especially at the end of the First Republic, that brought about the military coup of 1966, we've never gotten it right structurally. The structural imbalances led to the military incursion in a system that brought about unitary federalism. Structurally, we are supposed to be a federation, a federal republic of Nigeria. Are we actually federating? That is the structural deficiency we've been made to deal with in almost about 50 years. These structural deficiencies in the political side led to the Civil War of 1967. The same, in attempts to correct the structural deficiencies, we change our type of our system of government. Democracy is a type of government, and we embrace presidential system, which gave rise to the first executive president of Nigeria, presidential system of government in 1979, the Shagari administration. And economically, we had issues, and we felt we returned and retorted to the unitary federalism of the military rule that was created by the aberrances of this world. And that unitary federalism, again, was threatened along some not well thought out economic policies from the military, like the IBB Structural Adjustment Program, SAP, which was headed by, I think, Olufalaye was the head of SAP then, you know. And those things drove for more than almost 10 years that brought about the Third Republic, the botched Third Republic of 1993. The election that was widely claimed to have been won by the late Chief MKO Abiola. And after the defunct Third Republic, we had military incursion in the system. They sustained the unitary federalism again, still retaining the structural imbalance. Without a balanced structure, we cannot drive any economic policy that will erode glory.
Okay.
You know, and when that led to the transition that led to the Fourth Republic of 1999. And since 1999, we started the Fourth Republic, and almost 24 years, or about more than 20 years later, the first 16 years economically was not well positioned. You know, we had a glorious economic policies of the 16 years, the first 16 years, but those economic policies were not touching on the structure, so they could not really translate to glory for us until the Buhari administration of 2015, who came with a frugal leadership style that was trying to mix socialism, because prior his administration was already operating almost pure capitalism, because almost every sector of this economy was being liberalized already. From the oil sector that we are seeing today manifesting, the liberalism started from the Obasanjo administration, you know, to the airlines, to the total. In fact, we created National Council of Privatization, which was headed by Atiku, and everything was mismanaged. And we now, for the first time, we now had a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is not just having the political will to drive the economic structure of Nigeria, but also having the intelligence capacity, incompetence to actually create a proper macroeconomic framework that every other group in the structure called Nigeria. The federal structure is stratified into 36 states. Several others of 4 local governments and the federal government. So the Tinubu administration is actually driving the macro indices of this government so that every other state can key into it.
Mr. Bano, you've been able to take us through memory lane. Thank you very much. I think it's obvious that you're a student of history, and that's good. People who are students of history, they know so many things that has happened before now and how we actually got to this place. When you talk about structural deficiency, what do you mean by structural deficiency, and how did we even get there? All right. Of course, you can't talk about repairing structural deficiency without talking about this administration, because we're already talking about the fact that this administration seems to stand out because they are the only ones that have come to try fixing this deficiency that we have. You actually went memory lane to let us know that some persons tried it and it never worked, and in your own sense, as it were, you now believe this has worked already. As it is right now, what do you mean by structural efficiency, and how do we get there, and what do you think this administration has done that has fixed it?
The system has retained structural imbalances. The structure has not been fair to itself.
What about the structure?
The structures of the states, the local government, the people that made up the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are operating federalism. Fiscal federalism means less power is retained at the central, decentralization of policy direction to the states in areas of revenue, in areas of responsibility. If we check the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first schedule is the exclusive list. We have the second schedule, which is the concurrent list. In the concurrent list, there are a lot of economic issues that whose decision lies with the federal government and the states. They have equal powers in areas of agriculture, economic development. Are you with me? Even the talk of the security, issues of security. Today we are having imbalances. our police is still structured, is still federated and centralized at the central. We have not even touched that. We have a local government autonomy. We have 704 local governments today that are moribund economically. They've not been able to translate the microeconomic gains of their particular, because the essence of local government is to bring governance closer to the people. How do you bring governance closer to the people? Revamping the rural economy, creating the social welfare, the minimum social welfare that the people at the rural area need to feel sense of belonging in the federal structure.
Okay, you're trying to say that's what this
this administration is doing all around, creating policies that is touching. For example, the local government autonomy.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
I'm coming. I'm going to be touching on it. Okay. Decentralization, local government autonomy, decentralization of the electricity. Instead from the Buhari administration, this government now took it further, that the states cannot generate and distribute their own electricity.
So how much power do we have? How much power do we have?
The essence of decentralization is to not rely on the national grid. The Lagos state government just took advantage. I said I was happy. I'm looking positively with the policies of the government. I'm happy with it. Not because the government is paying me, but because I'm leveraging on the policies. I'm a professional. The Lagos state government is creating its own generating 4,000 megawatts, which will automatically disconnect them from the national grid.
What is the internally generated revenue of Lagos State? What is that?
Okay, let me explain to you. That is taking me to the tax reform.
Hold on for a minute. I'm saying this because you're trying to talk about what's happening in Lagos.
I'm not even talking of Lagos. Let me take for example, Edo State have also succeeded. Yes, what is the IGR of Edo State? That Edo State is having ocean more power. Edo State has passed a law in the House of Assembly for them to have their own electricity regulation. It's just for the players to now, for the industry player to come in. So how many
states in Nigeria can afford this?
Because affordability, policy direction are going to do with financial affordability on the long run. The first thing first is the political will. How many need to draft a policy direction for your state as far as a particular economic need is concerned? Electricity is one of the most critical economic needs that drives industrialization. And the federal government is now telling you, under a federal structure, it is structurally imbalanced to centralize the electricity at the top, that is now inefficient over the years to distribute electricity to the lowest level. In such arrangement, the federal government is now saying, let us decentralize the power. Before, for example, we have the Azura Power project in Edo State. They generate 480 megawatts, but it cannot be utilized by Edo people. You have to send it to national grid to be shared across the whole Nigeria. And then we have the power plant, we have the Zubero hydro electricity. Like that, they generate combined and it now be distributed. And the federal government is now saying no. These states can generate their own power so that you reduce, and they also create alternative energy sources.
Hold on, Mr. Bible, you're talking about states that can.
Every state can.
Hold on for a minute.
Unless it's your potential. No.
Every state.
No, every state. The state is not saying you should build a power plant.
Hold on for a minute.
As a governor, okay, for example, I have to just explain this further so that we don't get drifted away from it. The state, it's not about the state. The economic policy of Nigeria is mixed economy, which means liberalism and socialism. You understand? The state government cannot wake up and say, I'm budgeting XYZ billions to go and be driving a power project. But the state government can create the enabling environment for policy direction, from policy formulation, regulatory framework and design, with necessary laws, enabling laws, guiding that particular economic sector that will not attract the foreign investors or outsiders, outside players, private individuals who have the capacity and the money to invest and the technical expertise to invest in that particular sector. What government does is to create the enabling environment.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Brimo.
And this is the era of
Hold on for a minute, Mr. Brimo. Hold on. I need to ask you, President.
All right, I'm here for you.
You can't just keep talking.
I'm here for you.
I need to ask you, President, because Nigerians need to be enlightened.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Edo State, and Edo State is doing this. Benue is not doing it. Okay, Benue is not doing it. There are other states that are not doing it. I'm not saying we don't have natural resources, but there are natural resources that are common to these different states. There are policies. All right, let's come back to the policies of this administration right now.
I'm just counting it.
One of the policies, you know why we are where we are today? are you aware of what Nigerians are going through?
Am I not in Nigeria?
You are Nigerian.
I live in Nigeria. I don't live in
Pluto. Nigerians going through this? Well, it's because of a policy.
No, because governance across the strata. We have 3 tiers of government in Nigeria: the federal government, the local government, and the state government. And each of these governments have their constitutional responsibility to the Nigerian people. They are paid for it. They have revenue for it. They have the money allocated to it by the laws, by the constitution, as provided in the revenue.
You know that Nigerians can't food right now, that there are people losing their lives.
Why Nigeria? Yes, because of the policy. Because of the policy of the collectivity of the governance for federal, state, and local government has made Nigeria not to food. For example, food sufficiency. The responsibility of food sufficiency, the state powers, under the Land Use Act Decree of 1978 as amended Act of 1999, land does not reside with the federal government. And land is a whole factor of production. It resides with the state and local government. How are the state and local government be able to utilize the potentials in lands to drive agriculture?
You're talking about land here. You're talking about agriculture. Hold on.
Agriculture, and you say you're talking about hunger. You talk about hunger.
And people are hungry in Nigeria.
That's what I'm saying. To be frank, where are they going to get the food from?
They need to get the food from the farm, but then can they go to farm because
excuse me, I'm a farmer.
Where are you from?
I'm a farmer. I have farm in Abuja. Where are you from? Absolutely a man. I have a photo. Absolutely.
But are you aware? Hold on for a minute, Mr. Brimo. Are you aware that some Nigerians, you don't need to be particular. Let's be holistic.
I'm being holistic. I'm not talking about. I said I have a farm in Abuja.
That some Nigerians can't go to farm right now.
I'm not in here to every challenge in Nigeria, but the challenges is not enough for Nigeria to move forward. From 1960 to date, we've not been able to achieve food sufficiency. Were there elsewhere at that time? Were there what other things? Because when I was in secondary school, they told me the problem of agriculture that have made Nigeria not to achieve food sufficiency. And insecurity, excuse me, every program I was taught in secondary school as one of the bane of agricultural advancement of Nigeria is still existing today. Why are you just trying to use insecurity to blackmail?
No, you can't say
insecurity is yes, but it has become a security. No, this is what is now. No, the one you now lay emphasis on it is not becoming an excuse. Yet, do you know I was questioning my state the other day. It's already the potential has not been affected. No. I own a farm in Oriomo local government in Edo State. Oriomo, Kaduna Road, Oriomo. These are two different things. I own a quarry in Yandev in Boko. Benue State Industrial Minerals. Are you telling me that I own a quarry in Akalori local government in Bauchi State? And these places I've mentioned now, are they in the Dorado? I'm not even talking about Bauchi as a state capital. I don't know insecurity. What I'm telling you, as the government, we have taken, except all of us begin to realize that we begin to think realistically that this excuse of insecurity, the government is doing its best to abate insecurity. Nobody is taking that away. So why are we not taking advantage of, for example, that Jere Road that I own a farm? When I told before now, people cannot pass through that Jere Road that I own a farm today. Why am I being able to operate a farm there? Animal farm at that. With herds of cows, poultry and rams. Because the probable insecurity then has reduced drastically. We know what is. Let me ask you a question. Insecurity pervaded in Zamfara State, yet industrial mineral in gold were being mined every day by Chinese in Zamfara State.
But you can't take it away. Listen to me now. Listen to me. Can I talk now? Number one, Mr. Brimo. Number one, you can't take away the fact that Nigerians are hungry. That is one.
I'm never taking that away.
Secondly, you can't take it away that it is not because of a policy that they are going through this. But is it not good to put up things that will cushion the effect of
a lot is difficult?
You need to be alive.
What I'm going to explain to you.
You are using yourself on that.
I'm not using myself. What I'm trying to explain to you. What I'm trying to explain to you. You are not getting my drift. I'm trying to explain to you that this is about. Okay. All right.
Can you hold on for all right? I'm the presenter. We're not following.
No, we are trying to set it. No, we are trying to disconstruct. We have to deconstruct some narratives. These narratives are wrong. The earlier we start to deconstruct them.
We're educating the people. Okay, it's a program. The people need to know. Okay, and everybody's capacity as a nation is different. Of course. What you can do, the other person may not be able to do.
Yeah.
All right, your wisdom is different from the other person's wisdom.
Absolutely.
But as a nation, as a government, when government need to carry everyone along.
Absolutely.
You are eating. You can't take away the fact that there are some persons that have not even fed since yesterday, but you took 3 square meal.
I don't take 3 square meal.
Okay, you ate 2.
I don't have the capacity.
You don't have the capacity.
Yes.
Mr. Brimo, the truth is this. With what Nigerians are going through right now, what do you think should be done to cushion the effect? Because whether you like it or not, you are not feeling the heat the way the other person is feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
It varies. It's in degree. The way you're feeling it is different from the way the other person is feeling it.
Absolutely.
And that's why you were able to say you have this here, have this, you can do this, do this. There are people that, someone said something as that some people even have to pay for them to go to farm in some other places. What about people who don't have the money to...
One of the policy of the Tinubu administration released that have not been people's friendly. For example, let's take on the tax reform laws or the tax reform bill. You understand? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. The tax reform bill, if we look at it holistically, removing the political shenanigans that is surrounding the bill, look at the benefit to the common man. Before now,
when you say political shenanigans,
people are building political narrative around the bill. If you take that away, read the bill in totality, get the only what the bill attempts to address, you will realize that that policy is more beneficial to the common man than the rich. For example, before now, in the Financial Act of 2021, before Financial Act, if your company have a turnover of 10 million naira, you will be charged CIT, company income tax. At the Financial Act of 2021, any restaurant, any local restaurant and buy food and pay tax and pay VAT, you will not be charged. A lot of Pampers is exempted from VAT. Medicine, medical items, medical equipment, pharmaceuticals, they are all exempted from VAT. These are things, these are social needs of the common man, and they are exempted from VAT. And we now shift the burden. Bottled water, pure water, they are all exempted from. You know how many bottled water companies are in Nigeria producing pure? 1999, that price control board was abrogated. We are operating liberalism. We say liberalization of the economy.
But if like a particular set of people are being victimized, there is nothing bad.
Why are those set of people not be able to conscientize themselves to challenge the system?
You know where we are.
Where are we? We keep blaming the leadership. I'm breaking things down for you now. We keep blaming the leadership. We don't even have to hold ourselves accountable.
Listen, nobody's blaming the leadership. We know Nigerians complain so much. But then,
who are the Nigerians that complain? The same people that are manufacturing the Panadol Extra will be the first to go out.
As a matter of fact, let's go to a break. When we return from this break, we'll look at other things happening and we'll go into our second discussion. As a matter of fact, we are trying to strike a balance right here, not totally one-sided, but as a matter of fact, everyone have a role to play in nation building. Policies are meant for the good of the people, but when the policy, as a matter of fact, begin to bite hard, and there is nothing to use in cushioning the effect of the policy, that's where it becomes an issue. But as a matter of fact, it's obvious that Nigerians are going through Ebola, and that's going to be after this break. Brimo still remains with me after this break. Well, now to Edo State, where Babalo is settling down. If he has not finally settled down, but then as a governor coming into office, so many policies will come to play, like we're just talking about the policy. Now, I still have with me right here Mr. Haruna Brimo. Why, you know why he is a comrade now? You already know.
Campaign process. I followed this. I had a few privileges before even the primaries to have met him, engage him and discuss with him on his policy trust, and I knew that this was going to happen. He's a very pragmatic leader who believes leadership is not your mark but I mark. It's not what you hear that this governor is doing this. It's what you see, what the people see that the government
talk so much now. What would you have to say about one of the things that this administration said that is translating to other tiers of government is the issue of inclusiveness. What would you have to say about inclusiveness in Edo State? Is he just working with people that worked for him? I know people like you worked for him, right? So people that worked for him, are they just the people he's working with, or he's working with technocrats, people that he knows?
What is your definition of technocrat? I'm a technocrat, for example. I'm a professional.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You understand? It's not about he's driving an inclusive government from the traditional rulers, which hitherto were neglected in the last 8 years. You saw what he did in this last, ironically on the 12th, we mark his 1 month in office. What he did was first of all to return the traditional status of the Oba of the name, Oba Nedokwa, Oba Rejawa II, Ogidigba II, Ogidigba, had to return all his traditional status to the palace, had to return all his traditional status to the palace. All this attempt to balkanize the kingdom, all these things stopped. That is one traditional inclusiveness. Then he met with most of the traditional rulers in the Edo North, and also what are the impasses you are facing, you have been facing, and he told them how the former administration tried to split their communities. In some community you have 2 kings or 2 chiefs, in South Ibie, in Akoko Edo, so in Okpela, all those places, and the mineral rich of these areas. You understand? It's solid mineral rich, so they're not going to be crisis. And he successfully carried them along to say, okay, we are going to set up a commission of inquiry to look into the grey areas and resolve them so that we can have inclusive governance. And you saw yesterday, even the vice chairman, national vice chairman of the PDP, South, the Kulukulu one of Africa, Chief Damosi Obi, commended him that that is your position. What is the definition of inclusive governance? We have a legacy group of the PDP who have pitched, who have felt that this man is on the trajectory of growth, real governance. And you saw what he has done in the last few days in office, infrastructure-wise, opening up roads, flagging off for the first time. Okay, they're going to be having flyovers across Benin cities, flagging off roads. The Palace Road were just flagged off yesterday. Finally, the schools are being a model now. We just gave the order. And yesterday, let me tell you, we don't have the time. Tinubu administration, we're talking of the impact of Tinubu in Tinubu administration. They leave books and instructional material, institutional material across the states, and the state was among those states that benefited since April 2023. The former president, Godwin Obaseki, commissioned the warehouse where those instructional material and books were not, and they never distributed it until yesterday. When they release those for almost 2 years. This is a lot is going on in those states.
This is all the time that we have on the program today. As a matter of fact, time is up for us. Let's see where Edo State will be in the next 1, 2, 3 years, and of course, let's see how the policies that is playing out right now will go, because it is not how far, most times is how well, and it's so good that Comrade is telling us what is actually happening there, the footings right now. And of course, thank you very much, Comrade Brimo, for coming around. I love that name. You can see that I'm just sounding it. I'm just sounding it. I love that name. He's a socio-economic expert, and he is here with us today. And a very big thank you to all of you for joining us since 7 o'clock until now for Global Morning. Remember that many programs So much will be coming on your way on global television throughout the day. My name is Ramsey Enoch. A very big thank you to the technical team, those in the MCR, and my producers, and of course the directors, the cameramen. Every one of you have done well. Bye-bye for now, and have a beautiful day.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say?